Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to be reviewing a foundation that I have been on the fence about. That foundation, as you can probably tell from the title, is the de Chanel foundation. This foundation has 20 different shades. While it doesn't have quite the shade range that something like a Fenty foundation would have, I feel like this is a step in the right direction for Chanel, who normally has like a handful of shades, or at least they used to when I worked in retail. This foundation does have a little bit of a scent, but I feel like once you start applying, it dissipates. I do have rosacea. I have a very mild case of rosacea that's mostly just annoyance with redness. Some products can irritate me a little bit, but I found this foundation hasn't caused my skin to react in a negative way. And it does a decent job at taking the edge off my redness while still letting my natural skin take center stage. I can't tell you any of the claims on this foundation other than it's touted as having a red camellia extract, skincare ingredients, sunscreen, and my foundation, I don't really care. Only time I care if a foundation has sunscreen in it is if I have something like a special occasion, I need something that's not going to flash back, because SPF can cause flashback in photos. This, I have no idea if it has sunscreen in it or not, but it's a really beautiful foundation. You can get a light to medium coverage. I would say it's on the lighter end of medium. It's going to stay very skin-like. It's not going to be overly luminous. It's not going to be overly matte. It's a nice skin-like satin matte finish that sets in the middle. This is very much, in my opinion, a skin enhancing foundation. So if that sounds good to you, you are in the right place. If you're new, my name is Zach. I'm a medical esthetician and makeup artist who's been in the industry for over 10 years. I've had a lot of time to play with foundations, and I have bought way too many foundations. Like, I buy a lot of makeup, so I've got a pretty good idea of what I do like, what I don't like, and I'm not someone who likes first impressions or wear tests based on 1 or 2 days, because I need at least a week to make up my mind on a product or a person. I mean, finding a new foundation is like dating. Am I going to commit to you after 1 date? No. For me, it's the same with foundation. I need to at least date you for like a week before I can figure out if this is going to work long term. So if that sounds interesting, let's get right into the review of the de Chanel foundation. Thought I was to be consistent and use the same SPF that I've been using pretty much all week, which is my Water Fresh SPF by Espoir. It's like a green liquid that goes on pretty much clear. But today I was like, let's go for an old faithful sunscreen that does so well under foundations. So I'm using my Canmake Mermaid Skin UV Gel, one of the best sunscreen primer hybrids. It's a Japanese sunscreen that uses all chemical filters, but they are chemical filters that are not approved here in North America. So you have more of like your tinosorbs in it, and really nice sunscreen that does just everything you want a sunscreen to do. It's lightweight, doesn't feel sticky. It's just your foundation glides on like a dream. I was rummaging through because I was like, today it is day 5 of wearing this foundation. I need to choose a primer, and I found a little bit left in my bottle of this mini Tatcha primer. So I've already applied that. This does have a red camellia extract in it, which that's great. Skincare, SPF, any type of benefits like that. In a foundation, they're nice. Foundation is something that sits so superficially on the skin. I never really pay much attention to it as far as really giving my skin benefits, because in order for my foundation to give my skin benefits, it has to go through my skincare, my serums, moisturizers, sunscreen, a primer. So the likelihood of it actually getting through to do any of the claims is slim to none. If it does something for my skin, that's great. When I'm looking for a foundation, I want something that is going to work well for my normal combination, which is prone to dehydration. I'm a little bit oilier through the T-zone center panel of my face, and my cheek perimeter area of my face is pretty balanced, but I do have enlarged pores pretty much all over my face. So I like to use a foundation with a light to medium coverage just to kind of neutralize some of those red tones I have in my face, which isn't really found throughout my body. I like something that isn't going to be overly matte or overly dewy. I like more of a skin-like finish, which my definition of skin-like is going to be more of a satin matte finish, because real skin isn't overly shiny unless it's sweaty, and then it's not overly matte unless it's extremely dry and you have no oil production coming to the surface of the skin. So I like that nice in the middle. And when I apply this foundation, I just barely press down on the pump just to get a little bit. That's generally how I like to work with foundations. And I kind of like to dot tiny bits of foundation around to create the look I'm going for. This is one of those little simple human 10 times magnifying mirrors. I got it last year during the Nordstrom anniversary sale. I don't recommend doing your makeup or anything really with your skin in a 10 times magnifying mirror because you will see everything that you would not see otherwise. I like using this because when I'm doing a foundation review, I am so hypercritical of foundations because I want a foundation that's going to look like skin, but the best version of my skin, if you would say a hyper real look on the skin. When I'm looking at this foundation, only place I can really see a trace of it is right here where I have the little scab that's healing. I feel like it might look a little bit smoother than it has the last few days over the sunscreen primer combination, building up thin layers of coverage where I want it. Generally, I like to not use concealer if I can. I'll use concealers more if I'm doing a look or I just want to take that time to really perfect the look of my skin, but on a day-to-day basis, I will use a foundation all over and under my eyes. I never like to layer foundation and concealer under the eyes as it can look a little heavy. On days 1 and 2, I used this foundation as a concealer under my eyes and it did well. I just like a little bit more coverage, especially because I didn't get a ton of sleep last night, so I'm a little bit darker under my eyes. I'm going to finish the rest of my makeup off camera and I will be right back to share my final thoughts and opinions on this de Chanel foundation. I have no idea what just happened. I just decided to go very, very like warm within the colors I did. That being said, I'm not going to go super warm because super warm colors aren't the most flattering for me, but I'm definitely kind of tiptoeing into that soft autumn vibe. I think it's where I'm working on our seasonal color series and I'm just like, let me play with some warm colors, and that this is the look and I'm quite happy with it. I'm getting ready to insert some clips from the rest of the week where I've worn this and given some check-ins. I did forget to do a check-in on day 2. Day 2 was very much a kind of like haphazard makeup day. We had a friend's birthday party the day before and we didn't get home until like 3 a.m. and the next morning we had plans to meet up with some friends for dim sum. It was like I was running on like 4 hours of sleep and I was just a zombie. So I threw on SPF and then this was in my washroom on the counter and I just started like pumping it on my finger and putting it on like a concealer. Then I looked for whatever kind of lip color I had. I think, actually, hold on, let me grab it. This is a Rouge Cocoa Balm in the shade 924 Fall for me. I just put that on my lips, on my cheeks. I think I even took a little bit across my eyelids, which don't know why I did that, but it was the mood. And day 2 wore pretty much the same as day 1. I mean, all the stipulations, the sunscreen, the application, the color I put on top was pretty much the same. I'm gonna insert footage from day 1, 3, 4, and then today, which is day 5, and you will be seeing the check-ins after I finish filming this. It's been about 4 hours since I applied the foundation. It's wearing well. A little bit of wear right through here, but no primer, anything like that, just foundation. At the end of my day 1 of the #1 de Chanel foundation. I've had this foundation on for about 9 hours and it's worn off a bit. I'm noticing it's worn off a bit here on my lower face, a little bit right through here and over here, but it's a very graceful degradation of the foundation. I'm very, very happy with how everything's worn. I can't wait to see how it performs the rest of the week. About 4 hours since I applied the Chanel foundation for day 3 testing. So far, everything's going really well. I've had a mask on today while I've been running some errands, and I've had a little bit rub off on my nose where I had my at-home dermaplaning incident. Waiting in line for a car wash and figured I would give you all an update. Stay tuned. I will be doing an end of day check-in. It's 11:30. I've had this foundation on for about 12 and a half hours. It's worn off on my nose, on my chin, and a little bit kind of right through here where I nicked my nose the other day. It has worn off, and I'm not really kind of putting a lot of effort to keep it covered because it's not something that's always there. Overall, the way this foundation has worn and now faded, even without a primer under it, the last 3 days has been remarkable. My skin is normal to oily. I've got a little bit of shine coming through the T-zone, but nothing crazy. Like, I don't feel like I need to run and powder. The only thing different I tried today versus anything else is applying with the foundation brush. Really smooth application, whether I've used fingers or the brush. It's 11 p.m. on day 4. Had this foundation on for a little over 11 hours. From conversational distance, I feel like it looks really, really nice. But up close, like my chin, right through here, everything just feels quite tight and kind of like it's cracking. For today's makeup application, the only things that really changed is I applied with a sponge for the first time. I still didn't use a primer, and I set it down with the Revlon Candid powder, which I've used time and time again, and I've never had issues with it. And for the first time today, I tried a setting spray, which was the Dior Air Flash Radiance Setting Mist. So nothing was new except for the foundation and applying it with a sponge. Everything else I used was stuff I've already had in my collection and loved. So maybe it's a combination of something, but today it's not a bad foundation day. I mean, I'm being really kind of nitpicky, but for, what is this foundation, like 72 or 92? I get the American and the Canadian price mixed up, but for a very expensive foundation, I am going to be picky because I have got some drugstore foundations that they wear well all day long. So for something at this price point, I'm going to be a little extra critical. Anyway, better luck for tomorrow. I'm going to take my makeup off, take a shower, and go to bed. See y'all tomorrow. So it is going on 8 p.m. That means I have had this makeup on for just over 7 hours. Look at this. It is like, this is just one of those products, like when I've paired it with like a tried and true product, it just gets better. Like, this makes me realize I need to, one, like stock up on my Canmake sunscreen, and I need to just always use my Tatcha primer. That being said, this is completely off subject. If you have like an affordable alternative for the Tatcha primer, drop it in the description box down below, because I would love to like compare something affordable to the Tatcha, because the Tatcha is pricey, and if you're going to be using it every day, it can get a little expensive. Overall, I'm just very happy. I've got a bit more editing to do. Don't make day 5 the day before you upload, because I need to finish this so I can go up tomorrow morning. I will check in with you before the night is over and let you know how this looks, but like right now, this might be the best foundation day I've had. Today I was like, let's play with a different shadow. I picked this up when I was on vacation. I don't know if you can see it, but it is so pretty. Like, I don't wear sparkly eyeshadow ever except for when I'm creating something for social media. This is the Rowan 1111. It's the lightest shade, and then I use the more reddy tone. I believe it's in the bottom right on my lower lash line. This eyeshadow is just like, I am like in grade 8 at the Cher Farewell Tour concert, and it's giving me everything. So I'm gonna go edit and listen to Cher. Hey y'all, so it is 10:59 p.m. I just finished editing and I was making myself laugh. There is a sense of my personality in this video that I don't feel like it's really come across on camera. Like, for some reason, I feel comfortable in front of the camera for the first time in like over a year of filming and creating content. I feel like you can kind of see me in this video. And yeah, that's entertaining, because sometimes I feel like I come off like really stuffy on camera, which I'm not like that in real life. But I'm just completely thrilled with this foundation. It hangs on to the skin. It degrades in a really, really beautiful way. It's expensive, but for me, it's worth it. I have got a more affordable foundation I feel like is comparable to this that I want to test out next week. So hopefully it comes close. I feel like it's gonna come really close, but that's kind of like the plan with doing these foundation reviews. I wanna go high-end and affordable. That way there's a good mix of products. So I will let you all finish the video, and I will see you all again in the next video. Bye. This foundation has pretty much kicked some of my other favorite holy grails kind of like out. Before this, the previous formula, the Chanel, I think it was called Perfection Lumiere Velvet, I have it in my little archive section. That was one of my favorite foundations of all time. It was just so thin, I didn't need to prime. It just did everything I wanted to. And then they changed to Ultra Le Tint Velvet. I picked up my old shade, which was, I think I picked up B20, which I don't know why I got that. I mean, I think when I was using the Perfection Lumiere Velvet, I was fake tanning a lot more and I was a lot darker, and it's way too dark for me. So when I was in Holt Renfrew, which is kind of like a luxury department store here in Canada, I was like, can I get shade matched? And I got matched to shade BR12, and it's a pretty good match. If I build this up, like you'll see in one of the previous days, my face is always going to look darker than everything else unless I apply a really opaque medium to full coverage, because my face has a lot of surface redness. Without makeup, with makeup, my face is darker, and that's why I hold bronze on my neck. I was gonna be a good YouTuber. I was gonna go online, look up what they said about the foundation, but I don't know. I've seen some reviews because I'm late to the party on this foundation. I've seen some people say it's more matte. I've seen some people say it's more luminous. I don't feel like this is matte or luminous. This is more of, like I mentioned a little bit ago, it's a satin matte finish. It's a very skin-like feeling. The finish you get with this is going to be very dependent on what you put under. For me, this is like a my skin but better foundation. It's really lovely. It wears really well. After about the 8 to 9 hour, it does start to wear away. Most products will, unless you're wearing something a little bit more kind of made to last, something that has a little bit more longevity to it. It wears really beautifully. It's a foundation that sits so close and almost meshes with the skin. It's just, when it wears off, it's like very, very elegant. It's a very elegant degradation of the product. Your natural skin starts peeking through just slightly, but it's an easy one to remedy. I found on days when I don't powder this, also maybe around hours 5 to 6, I could use a little touch up, but it's not to the point where it's like, whoa, we look greasy. Who knows, that might change in the summer. I mean, it's very much winter here. It snowed a little bit the other night. So when it's warmer, I'm a little bit more oily. I might need to powder more often, but we can reassess that when it comes around. This Chanel foundation, in my opinion, is very, very much worth the hefty price tag. It is a really beautiful foundation for anyone who likes more of a natural, no makeup-esque foundation. If I was still a freelance artist, this is definitely a foundation I would keep on hand. Top remarks, love this foundation, worth the hype, worth the money. I hope this review, wear test, demo, log, I hope this style of review was helpful if you were on the fence about whether or not to purchase the One to Chanel foundation. I'm a huge fan. If you don't mind the fragrance, I think you will really enjoy this foundation as well. If you enjoyed today's video, make sure you give it a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and share this video with a friend who is on the fence about this foundation. I will see you all in the next video. Bye, y'all.